And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Hello everybody, my name is Rafael Chacín, as known as El Capitán Rafucho, and welcome to another episode of the Combat Club. Now, I know you're thinking, what happened to our co-host, Zenith? Well, we'll talk about this later because I had to make an announcement after the ending of this episode. But right now, I'm going to do like this episode alone, so make sure to subscribe to Rafael Chacín, as known as El Capitán Rafucho, on YouTube. You can follow me on the social media. Also, you can subscribe to Zenith on his YouTube channel. Not only he's providing my co-host for the Combat Club, but also he's doing like the premium takes along with Mike the Giants fans, Adam Costas, the three horsemen of this podcast, talking about for sports, from football to baseball, from basketball to wrestling. And right now, this episode is gonna be really different right now because we're gonna be like really short because this weekend is gonna be so intense right now. It's gonna be fully loaded of UFC, boxing, wrestling, all this stuff like that. Because this is the Combat Club. Everyone can join it, and we can fight everywhere, and of course, anytime. So yes. So salute to Robert Pena. How's it going? Salute to you, Robert Pena. Murder BS to say, let's go. Also, Dana Barry is in the building. Joan the Ball is say, what's going on here? I'm gonna explain after the episode. Yep. Yeah, you said about for the question. So right now, about for this podcast, which is the Combat Club. Before I had to do with the special episode of the Combat Club. After that, we're gonna take a little break, just like a little hiatus, because we want to try to figure it out about for the new day from the Combat Club, and then we just wanted to keep it in contact because right now the podcast, the Combat Club, is still there because we're gonna do like some brand new episodes, heated debates, breaking news, but we have to try to figure it out about for the new day, and of course, we're gonna do like always the same. Bring it to the table, the MMA, wrestling, boxing news. So after that, we're gonna take like a little break for the show until we have to figure it out about for the new day of the podcast because the podcast is still there. And right now, this is the episode number 14. And I'm very happy that me and my co-host Zion, we finally had to embrace a new podcast for all the martial arts, wrestling fans, boxing fans. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be so great. So right now, let's figure it out for the first topic about for the Combat Club, so shall we? All right, so the first one, Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka instead of Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Well, remember about for the deja vu because remember when it comes to Saudi Arabia, we choose watch Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev. Yep, and right now there it is, Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira. I mean, it's not like the first time that we just see about it. It's not the first time. Because remember back in October 2023. Yeah. Because remember this. Because that really marketed all right now. I mean, this is gonna happen. So I just figured it out that how did this could happen right now? It's not about for the marketing. It's all about for anything could happen. I mean, what the heck is going on right now? I mean, what the heck? But I guarantee about for the Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka. I mean, this kind of whole thing, I mean, it's not going to be so weird, but it's going to be like very dynamic. Very dynamic. I mean, he always had to do like that. Because if Jiri doesn't have like a better job of avoiding leg kicks, I'm not very sure he can win short of ending so quick, because it probably gonna be ending, but it was not good looking for Jiri. I mean, it's gonna be like the closer game, but Jiri has a good moments of that fight, just like the sequence. Whenever he was guided for the first time at the sequence of 7 minutes, I mean, he was able to back out like Alice most for the fight. He fights like undercut, like an uppercut for a few times, very sneaky for the fins. I mean, they just started like landing his overhide. The typical defense is gonna be back of the way. I mean, what can I tell about it? But it's gonna be like a difficult war, but it was just like such a shame we're not getting like the main and co-main event without a proper training camp. Had this ever happened like at under a month's notice? I mean, not just replacing fighters in the main and co-main, but all four fighters signing on short notice. Yep, it's on short notice. And I will see like, what the heck is going on right now? I mean, hey, how's it going, Butterfly? Salute to you, Butterfly. I hope you're doing good. All right, so I'm gonna check that it does right now. But yes, I gotta tell you for this one. I mean, the way having to go for the fight right now, I mean, it's gonna be like so realistic, because you gotta love it or you hate it. Alex Pereira willing to put his reputation to get on the line to get the true right. I mean, we'll probably never see like a Conor Octagon again, but it was like the first time he pulled out after the fight being scheduled. Yep. It's also ahead of the first time. The first time, ladies and gentlemen. Because, well, remember the time, it was just like a whole deja vu. Whole deja vu right now. Because remember, when Islam Makhachev had to go to a rematch against Charles Rivera. But Charles Rivera just stepped it out, and then they just switched it out for these things, and then right now I got a short notice against Volkanovski. Remember that? That was on October 21, 2023. Because before that, it was originally between Charles Rivera versus Islam Makhachev. It's going to be like at a great mid-range rematch. But I feel like to say, what fight is this? We're talking about for Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka, which is like the rematch. But instead of that, there's no Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. And man, I thought that Michael Chandler could whoop his ass against Conor McGregor. And I know I'm seeing like at all these times, but I really understand why I had to go for this. I mean, we just got like at the first and the main card against a big underdog. I mean, imagine what it does right now. Imagine about this. But it should be like a great banger. Yes, it is. Because I know it's going to be 100%. On the 3 rounds, it won't be surprised it's going to be more definitive over this time. But it's going to be like so many book flights. Because remember this. After we just saw, not only for Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, but also they just got Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka. I mean, there's so many people book flights, hotels, Airbnb, and overpay for tickets to see Conor versus Chandler. I hope it's gonna be like get the reference back. But let's just say cars are yet to change, unfortunately. So if you're gonna read like the last particle, which is like the littlest things to say cars subject to change. I mean, same. It will be like at a big time. But that was wild, like the first time. It will be like a short fire banger. Because everyone is going to be taking like an advantage for Conor. I mean, what kissing him out for the he's rich and his money is benefiting like a lot of people, but he's not in the control of his life. He doesn't know what he wants, and he can make things like anything happen anymore for everything. But between for Alex Pereira I mean, the Brazilian thing. I mean, why he's so damn popular? Because we understand that he's like a very accomplished kickboxer, and the kickboxing crowd was very interesting. Sorry, very invested on his mixed martial arts run from the start. But why does it have such a large fan base in the community? I got the answer. They got a lot of Americans and Brazilians because he's impulsive, incredible, capable striker who has back up for those wins. I mean, that's pretty much. That's pretty much. Because if you're violent, start outside for the cage and people get out violently, you get a lot of defense. Even they were for Anderson Silva. And he wasn't that scary of his personality. I mean, he should have like volunteer knockout guys, then talking about how much he loved Spider-Man. Because remember this. Remember this, folks. Brazil got the best of the best talent in mixed martial arts. Between Roy Grace, Anderson Silva, they just got Alice Pereira, Charles Oliveira. I mean, they just got a lot of talent. A lot of talent because they know they're practicing all the capoeira, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I mean, they never beat. They never beat just like an amazing thing. I mean, I really like it. Really like it, ladies and gentlemen. So, yes. And oh my God, we got 27 persons on the building right now. We got 5 on Twitter, 27 in YouTube. I mean, thank you very much. And Butterfly, they say, I'm sharing this out in Discord for you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for everything. I mean, talking about for Alice Pereira, he went out for the division and he went to win, and they got to defend it. I mean, the hype will be definitely die down if they got to really stock it in top 5 or something. But it didn't happen time because every time he fights, he barely talks. They give like the moments to talk about. Just look at the UFC 300 main event. The badass walkout, pushing her out of the way to kick out the balls, pause. I mean, the first punch she punches and they're like slipping heel to Khabib lane. It's just like this. And calls out like a fight in 3 weeks. I mean, all this in a single night, it's kind of very crazy. And also about that, he had 8 UFC fights total. 8. And 4 of them, those are title fights in 2 weight classes. 2 weight classes. And his record is 7 wins and just 1 lose. 1 lose. It's completely insane. I mean, with the accomplishment about for the MMA, just 12 fights, but also he's very popular as an intimidating stone face and his main potential. I mean, the Poitin. We know about for the Poitin. I mean, yeah, I know. This is going to be like an out of control. But he also feels like a breath of fresh air. There's no forced trash talking in character, pretended to be like a very something they're not. I mean, the story some fake persona will still make hilarious. And they sells very well and somehow use his ability to speak English to his advantage. He handlined 2 Madison Square Garden cards, and he was like the face. So it's kind of like the main event for the last 3 biggest UFC events in a row, but he just like received the good exposure, and they really gotta pay off. Yep, they got a lot of payoff for this one. I mean, look at this one. Yep, he still got the best, but for Jiri Prochazka, I mean, what can I tell you about this one? I mean, probably, he's one of those best on the division. It's very crazy because he just lost like a doesn't know what get around for anything about for pounds. Yeah, but the idea about for replays because it's not gonna be like a speculation, but headlining like Madison Square Garden International Fight Week. I mean, And at the top of that, within a single year, he's been like at the top for like Pereira. But for Jiri Prochazka, I mean, he doesn't seem like very crazy. He doesn't walk at a line for at least like 200 pounds. 200 pounds. I mean, cutting us a little weight, it should be like possible to go. Because the UFC literally changed the interview schedules and avoiding how very fucked up the fighters on weight ends. I mean, Jiri has a very good frame for lightweight. He doesn't like very undersized to natural on the shoes to be like stay what it is. I mean, very lean, muscular, especially and fight night and weigh-ins. But I don't really want to see like 20 extra pounds to lose with simply dehydrating on the side for the performance. I mean, he doesn't look very small. But look at Dreykus. Look at Dreykus. I mean, he's building like a silverback gorilla. Pause. And he definitely walks it around that year round. What's crazy because he used to cut down to weight, and I know that I can imagine if Jiri was cutting down to weight, you'll be fighting the former lightweight, and the next thing you're fighting Jiri. How crazy is that one? How crazy is that one? I mean, for that reason that I just wanted to know about that, I mean, it's another mount. It's over after the go for the mount. It is going to be like a solid contender. A solid contender that nobody see that around. Because we want to see like bright action, no trash talk, the battle of the samurai. Basically, it's going to be like a great fight, no trash talk, pure 100% extreme violence. Extreme violence. Because if you look at the Jiri Prochazka, he looks like definitely like a Viking, but Alex Pereira is just like one of these Brazilian warriors. Yes, it definitely has to go with the storyline. Yep. But I think that Alice could have won the most question, but when we finally go to the throne Iceland to be like the number one pound by pound, I mean, he's very active and he's gonna terrorize to everything. Terrorize and everything. But you have to be careful about Jiri because I know it's gonna be like a solid contender. Solid contender. But it's gonna be like a really exciting fight. Really exciting fight to hyped up and to come back, but also he really deserves like another shot. Just happened earlier that we're gonna expect it. But I hope it's gonna be pulled out for the finish of this time. But I really like the way it's gonna fight itself, like really gladiator fights. Gladiator fights, and I really like it. Yep. But who knows it's gonna be like this one? But Alex Pereira versus Jiri Prochazka, it definitely has to go for the Warrior match. Because if that doesn't happen between Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, it'll be like a trash talk battle. Trash talk battle. Because imagine this. If people, they think that if Conor McGregor doesn't pull off, they still have to go a fight between Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. It will definitely like a trash talking and no punching each other. But if you want to see like Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira, boy, it's gonna be like a 300 movie. If you see the movie 300, oh, you gotta love this. You gotta love this. Kind of like a gladiator movies fight, and this is gonna be so much epic. Epic at all. And I really love that. So after that, I was talking about for Jiri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira. Here's like another thing that you might know that it probably is going to be a lot of controversial. So here it is. Jake Paul versus Mike Perry on July 20. If you guys know about this, well, Jake Paul, as known as one of the most trending fighters when it comes to boxing. But people doesn't know about the Platinum Mike Perry, as known as the King of Violence. And it was originally for the fight between Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, but they just moved out to November. But right now it is Michael Perry versus Jake Paul. I mean, it is confirmed. It is confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. It is confirmed. But this is like a much better fight than Tyson versus Paul. It will be like awesome if this was on bare knuckle. Bare knuckle. I mean, Platinum Perry has improved as a fighter, but much of our thoughts his opponent at bare knuckle. Even he was much more than the monster with ability that take punishment that he would imagine. But finally, they just got the man who never convinced to take a dive. I mean, if you can put like it about the time, it's gonna be like forget and start wailing on them. But I mean, they feel like Mike Perry refused to take a dive for $5 million. And after that, he early like accepted the first offer to like $7,000. And they both equally possible headlines. Headlines. I really like that Mike Perry will take like boom, boom. I really like that Mike Perry will like knock down to Jake Paul. I mean, but I don't see like winning this. I mean, very smaller, hittable, but I don't really think that Jay will knock out. But they just really want to Mike to win. I mean, he probably get it like a decent back, but he doesn't have like to take bare knuckles to the face. But the weight and class to benefit, probably. But it's gonna be like cruiserweight, 8 rounds, regular boxing gloves. I mean, cruiserweight is way too big for Perry. Wait, can you imagine this? I mean, what the heck? He's very too used to martial arts gloves, and he just used high volume to get through to the defensive opponents when he was going a bare knuckle. But I will say this is way better to see Mike Tyson get his ass handed on it. Because imagine being a UFC champ and knowing that you're never going to make money in post-UFC Mike Perry. But it's going to deserve like a great big back? No did it. No did it at all. Hey, Lucas Tracy, how's it going? Salute to you too, Lucas Tracy. Hey, Rafael, let's go. Yep, let's go for this. And I know that this episode is going to be myself because we're trying to figure it out about for the new day. And I know that my co-host is very busy at all. So I just wanted to say shout out to Zenith. I hope you're doing this. I hope you're watching this. And of course, much love and respect for you, my co-host Zenith. And we're trying to figure it out for the new day for the Combat Club because the Combat Club is still there. It's still there. But we're trying to figure it out the new day where this host right now, along with my co-host, Zenith, we're trying to figure it out about for this one. Yep. Butterfly said, I am worried by Tyson Paul is psycho. Yeah, I know about that. But remember the Mike Perry beat Michael Seals in the boxing match? And he was a much better boxer than Jake Paul. I'm not saying it's going to be like a walk in the park. Just like the New Yorkers said, it's going to be walk in the park. But I think Paul is very hittable. But Perry has the dog inside of him. So I'll definitely have to do well. But he was just like most of the fight. I mean, he was looking at forward. Because his best skills is durability, ability to throw heavy without gloves. without gloves. Have you ever seen like Mike Perry alone without gloves? I mean, he can put you like a lot of blocks in there. I mean, he has very legit power in those big boxing gloves. But I think it's gonna be like real damage. And I'm very more excited to see like over the Tyson fight. Because people wanted to see, now forget about for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. I want to see Mike Perry beat the fuck out of Jake Paul. I would love to see that. So that's what the fans need about it. Yeah. But also, there's like the guy who's on this prime, but is gonna be like going to throw hard. Very hard. Pause. But it's not gonna be like the sole all man to hoping like cash out like a check. But the size and skill disparity is very too much. I mean, Perry's gonna be hidden, not used to dealing without the big lows. I mean, he's very smaller than Jake. I'm not very sure about it's gonna be like a much of big boxing lows. I'm not gonna say there's gonna be probably lose. They're gonna be like to make a big back of money. Well, hope is gonna be showing at least, but it's gonna be more than interesting. More than interesting. If this one is a bare knuckle fight, Perry will murder Jake. Just like that. Boom! But the regular boxing, I mean, Jake probably wins. I mean, it's very unfortunately that it's going to be like a huge difference between punching McGrows and raps on the knuckle compared to just like wrist on the grabs right now. Everything implanted on bare knuckles, so you don't have to break your hand. I mean, the lip's going to be worse for them to clench, but also much smaller in weight than Paul. I mean, do you really think that Perry trains without gloves on? I mean, Jake fought Fury at 185. Perry fights at 885. Jake probably put up a ton for the weight. It doesn't want to cut. 0% chance to put it like over the 50 pounds on him over than a year. But this one is gonna be like so realistic fight. Very interesting. Very interesting. And I would love to see that. I would love to see that because remember this, folks. The Platinum Mike Perry as known as the king of the motherfucking violence. Butterfly said 25 years ago, during a boxing match in Las Vegas, Mike Tyson beat the heir of Evander Holyfield. He actually bit part of it out and spit it out. For those guys who don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm gonna tell you, this was like an epic moment at sports. Because if you're born in the 90s or if you grow up in the 90s, you will definitely watch that match between Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. I mean, what can I tell you about this? It became like so historical that no one's seen that coming. I mean, everybody, and then, wow. Even he was gaslighting, thinking he was wrong. I mean, George Foreman say Evander Holyfield was like the dirtiest fighter he ever fought. But people didn't know about this, all the headbutts and low blows. Holyfield was given like Tyson before this one. And I thought it was going to be illegal, but no. It wasn't that illegal, but I always thought that Mike Tyson got very frustrated because he was losing and lashed it out. But when you get being hit over and over and over, the referee's not handling it. And you're probably going to lose either way because he was showing off with the head and the face. Will make Tyson like his other bite, just like this. Just like at a shark thing like that. Just like at a shark thing. Remember Shark Week? Yeah, I know that's right. Yeah. But that was just like one of the weirdest but most impact matches all around for the history of boxing. Damn. Damn. What if I say Holyfield had headbutt Tyson? Yeah. And people know they didn't forget about this. They didn't know about forget about this. But man, what can I tell you about this, folks? Wow. What can I tell you? And I gotta tell you for this one, for those fans of mixed martial arts, boxing, and wrestling, right now I'm gonna do had to do a little preview of the UFC on ABC, which is Robert Whittaker versus Ikran Alisarov. It is gonna be like in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, because remember the last time he was getting out with Saudi Arabia between Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, damn. And then it's gonna be so realistic. Hey, salute to Queen Raider Dad, also to Gravy, salute to you, also Francisco Galvis. Yes, it is. And I gotta tell you for this one, I mean, it should be like very interesting, but it is gonna be so damn right. But I gotta tell you for this one, I am so mad right now that Kazmat is not fighting, but I hope it's gonna be okay. Even he never fights again, I hope it's gonna get healthy. But the only fight that I was looking at, to be honest, not the current list, but at general. Yep, it's gonna be on general, but also it's gonna be like a title eliminator. That was supposed to be like a title eliminator. So what happens now? If we take it, it's gonna be like a title shot defeating a non-ranked middleweight like Strickland did. If Ikram wins, it will be like instantly top five. Top five. I mean, they saying like a title eliminator means nada. It means zero. I mean, Kazmat versus Suman was a title eliminator. Bila versus Burns was a title eliminator. Until then, I remember his boy Kobe beat Masvidal a couple of years back. But now they just promised within the last year they're not honored. They not honored to that one. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, they're not very confident. Not very confident at all. I mean, shit. Shit. But he doesn't need like a. He's already had to go for like being rough at the top. But what I would say, the Robert would take it and say, Islam Akilabo is more dangerous than Kazmat. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not right at all. I mean, Ikran has the longest knockout streak and currently has the most medals in Sambo around for the UFC fighters. I mean, they have Costa Imamol Dolce pull off against you. Pull up. I mean, by far is one of the most dangerous fight everyone in the division can accept. But Ikran hasn't proven himself versus anyone yet. I mean, people are only get to say about for like we've been seeing like taking him down for the going for the wars on top of like contenders. So we're gonna get with Kazmat. I mean, what can I tell you? Isn't not doing for fun, but this is about business and how we get food on the table so we can sell love for the opponent during fight week. So they're not gonna take it like a very hard. They're not gonna take it like very hard, but I think it's not gonna be so realistic. But Whittaker versus Kazmat Chiamed, it's canceled, but I know that Alice Corral is gonna be like somewhat realistic. But also, we just have a look at the fights between for this one. So we got not only Robert Whittaker versus Iceman Masklunov, also they got Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov, Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez, Sharabutin Magomedov versus Antonio Trucoli, and this is going to be an interesting one for the ladies. Volkan Osadame versus the Johnny Walker. Not like the drink, the fighter. Johnny Walker. Yep. But this is going to be like a really interesting card. But yes. Yeah, it is right now. And I will tell you for this one, there is like in the comment, Paul is told to buy the air and he has to buy something lower, LOL. Yeah, I mean, LOL, but yeah, who knows about that? Not only the UFC on ESPN, on ABC is going to take it on Saudi Arabia, but also for the boxing fans, right now, it's going to be so intense right now. We had a title fight between Rafael Espinosa versus Sergio Chirino for Espinosa WBO featherweight title. Also, Andres Cortez versus Abraham Nova. Troy Island versus Javier Martinez, middleweights. Floyd Diaz versus Francisco Pedrosa Portillo. Demble Zamora versus Jose Antonio Mesa. Steven Navarro versus Juan Pablo Mesa. Brian Polaco, not Polanco. Polaco versus Richard Acevedo as middleweights. And Albert Gonzalez versus Conrado Martinez on featherweights. It's going to be on June 21 for the WBO featherweight title between Rafael Espinosa versus Sergio Chirino on ESPN Plus. Yep, it's going to be on ESPN Plus. And then the UFC fight night between Robert Whittaker versus Islam Akrimov. It should be like a very interesting fights, but after we talk about for the UFC, well, a little bit for the preview, I would love to see like a Islam Akrimov beating down Robert Whittaker, but I don't think it's gonna be like a very easy at all. It's not gonna be like another title eliminator, so it's not gonna be anything. Not gonna be. So anyway, folks. So right now it's been like another episode of the Combat Club along with myself, El Capitán Rafucho, as known as along with Rafael Chacín, as known as El Capitán Rafucho, and I gotta tell you for this one, I know you're watching the whole live stream, and I know that my co-host is still there, but I'm sending like a much love and praise for him. I know it's very busy, but we're trying to contact about for the new date, a new episode of the Combat Club, because the whole again is gonna be back. So we're gonna take like a little break, like a little hiatus, and then we're gonna set it down for a new date because the Combat Club is not going anywhere. We're gonna take a look at a little break, but the duet between Zion and Capitán Rafucho will be back. We'll be back soon than ever. We'll be back soon than ever, bringing the best of the best of mixed martial arts, boxing, and wrestling, because this is the Combat Club. Boxing fans, wrestling fans, MMA radio fans reunited every week with breakdowns, news, previews, because in this club, we're born to fight. Anywhere, anytime, anyone. Yes, sir. And that's the whole essence of this podcast. We bring it toe for toe, pause, between the best of the mixed martial arts, boxing, wrestling. And speaking about for wrestling, I mean, This is gonna be so much interesting of Joe Hendry. I mean, if you know John Hendry, I mean, it's just like a Scottish version of LA Knight. Yep. And imagine if LA Knight could face against Joe Hendry. I mean, that could be like a huge pop because Joe Hendry was at TNA and he was part of the Ring of Honor, World of Sport Wrestling, Impact. I mean, he was just like what are the rest of the Superdome. I mean, if you remember about for LA Knights between 2023 2024, you can see Joe Hendry in action. I mean, man, what could I tell you about this? Tony Shepard is in the building. How's it going, Tony Shepard? Salute to you. And like I said, folks, thanks for joining us with this episode number 14 of the Combat Club. On this episode, I'm talking about myself between the UFC fights, all around for the Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. Yes, sir. And I just wanted to tell you, have a great night, have a great weekend, and we're going to take a little break, a little hiatus, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it because the whole gang between Capitán Rafucho and Zion will be back. Better than ever. Stronger than ever. And yes. And like I said, folks, hit the like button. Subscribe to El Capitán Rafucho. Also subscribe to my brother, my co-host, Zion Zenith in the building. And ring the bell for notifications about for the latest videos, latest live streams, reactions, everything. Thank you very much. We're going to take a little break of the podcast, The Comic Club. But don't worry about that, folks. Don't worry about that because we're not going anywhere. We'll be back sooner than ever with the whole gang. Ralph and Zion will be back sooner than ever. Have a great night and peace out. Peace out, motherfuckers. And thank you for joining us for the Combat Club, motherfuckers. Let's go.